Hello, everybody. Welcome to Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Youth Connect. It has been quite a while since the last Youth Connect, but don't worry. We have tons of interesting news for you today, so don't you worry. Just a quick note for everyone in advance. A lot of people are here today, but sadly, we do not have Nibras. I just want to inform everyone, so just in case that you are looking for your entertainment, just so you guys know, you know what, guys? For those who don't know what Youth Connect is, or if you need a quick refresher, because it has been quite a while, Youth Connect is a news interest entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. We have a whole bunch of interesting news to share with you guys. Obviously, we always do. But you know what? I gotta say, you're gonna be in for some. You're gonna be on the edge of your seat. That's what I'll say. Now, if you know Youth Connect pretty well, we always have to start up with myself and gaming news. Okay, so what's first for Youth Connect? You always have to do your spotlight game of the week. What is that? Well, it's a game that I want to shine the light on. And to this time, today's game is Overwatch 2. Now, why do we talk about Overwatch 2? Well, Overwatch is a huge game, guys. But if you don't know what Overwatch is, Overwatch 2 specifically is a free-to-play team-based action game set in the optimistic future, where every match is the ultimate 5v5 battlefield brawl. Play as a jump timing freedom fighter, a beat dropping battlefield DJ, or one of over 30 unique heroes as you battle it out around the globe. Why am I talking about it now? Well, first it was revealed in BlizzCon 2019. The multiplayer team-based first-person shooter Overwatch then got a sequel which focuses more on storytelling over its forerunner by virtue of its new story missions. You know what, guys? This was released during E3, or recently was released with a trailer for E3 2022. And Overwatch literally just is in early access on October the 4th. So it's only been out for 3 days. Overwatch is currently free to play as an early access title. And as you may expect, it has a bunch of new heroes. For example, the Junker Queen is one, a long teased, much anticipated combatant who wields a shotgun in their main weapon and a hulking two-handed axe for good measure as their secondary. Overwatch 2, guys. I know Overwatch is another shoot 'em up, but technically it's just a PvP kind of game, a first-person shooter. But you know what? It is going to be focused on more story. So if you're a story type player, I recommend that you check out this game. Other than that, that has been gaming news. And you know who's up next. Next up, we have Kevin with some all-important news.
Hello, everyone. We are back after a short break. Thank you for joining us. You're tuned into Youth Connect with me, Kevin Aruja. But first, let's look at our headlines. The Metrolink signs 10-year deal with Durham College for naming rights to Oshawa GO Station. The Loblaws driverless groceries delivery trucks hit the streets of Toronto. Advanced voting for upcoming municipal election opens in Toronto. And Raptors rally for a big deficit to beat Celtics in OT. Oshawa GO Station has been renamed Durham College Oshawa GO after Metrolinx and Durham College announced they have signed a 10-year naming rights deal. The deal is the first of its kind in the province. It comes 3 years after the Ford government announced it would consider selling name rights for GO stations. This unique marketing opportunity also helps Durham College position itself in the community and surrounding areas as a leader in education, collaboration, inclusive inclusivity, and innovation. When the program was first proposed, it was reported that any naming rights deals would provide sponsors with ridership data. However, Transportation Minister Caroline Mulroney said at the time it would be stripped off of any personally identified information. The provincial government said in 2019 that it was initially seeking interest in the naming rights for other five ghost transit stations would be Pickering, Exhibition, Clarkson, and Oakville. Ontario Premier Doug Ford sent a message Thursday to education. Sorry, my apologies. This is news coming. Oh, there it is. Sorry for about that. The Loblaws drivers' grocery delivery trucks hit the streets of Toronto. Shopping for groceries in the Greater Toronto Area just got a little more futuristic. Loblaws company's late trademark and autonomous middle mile logistics company Getic have teamed up to launch Canada's first fully driverless grocery deliveries truck. The two companies have been testing the technology since January 2020 and completed 150,000 autonomous deliveries with a 100% safety record during that time. During those trials, a safety driver was on board in the driver's seat as a safeguard, but not operating the vehicle's control. As of today, Loblaws has five trucks on the road. One of those vehicles is operating fully autonomously, while the other two had a safety driver on board. The refrigerated trucks operated for about 12 hours a day and pick up grocery orders from a Loblaw distribution facility before arriving at nearby retail locations in the GTA on fixed, repetitive, predictable routes. An autonomous delivery enables Loblaw to operate more routes and make more frequent trips, establishing a supply chain that is safer and sustainable and more resilient. Torontonians who wants to cast their first ballot ahead of the city's October 24th election will get their chance this week as advance open votings on Friday. The advanced voting period will run to October 14th at 50 locations across the city that will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. With 31 candidates vying from the mayor's chair and 164 candidates running from a seat on council, this election will shape the city for years to come. And then on the sports news, Pascal Siakam and Precious Achiuwa scored 13 points apiece, and the Toronto Raptors used a four-quarter rally and an early burst in overtime to beat the Boston Celtics with a score of 125th out of 119 on Wednesday. Toronto trailed by 18 points entering the fourth quarter. The teams were tied at 110 at the end of a regulation after John Doughton, who had scored 10 points, converted a 9-footer for the Raptors. The Raptors outscored the Celtics with a score of 11 out of 4 to open overtime and never relinquished the lead. And on weather, today's weather forecast, our temperature for the weekend range from highs between 10 and 15 and lows between 2 and 8. Thanksgiving Day's weather looks really great for next week. Yeah. As we are ahead for the holiday next week, we are going to talk about the most beautiful, important day, and that is going to be Thanksgiving, but its Canadian version. So, in this week's For Interesting Fact of the Week, we're going to talk about Canadian Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day is yearly a Canadian holiday. Held every second Monday in October, it is an opportunity for people to give thanks for a good harvest and other fortunes in the past year. Outside of Canada, it is sometimes called Canadian Thanksgiving. To differentiate it from Thanksgiving in the United States, held on a different date. Thanksgiving Day in Canada is linked to the European traditions of harvest festivals, with churches decorated with cornucopias, pumpkins, corn, wet sheaves, and other harvest bounties. British and European harvest hymns are sung on the Sundays of Thanksgiving weekend, while the actual Thanksgiving holiday is on the second of Monday of October. Canadians may gather for the Thanksgiving feast on any day during the long weekend. However, Sunday is considered most common. There is no set ways to celebrate Thanksgiving, but it normally involves a big meal with family and friends at some point over the long weekend. Foods traditionally served include roast turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes with gravy, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, sweet corn, various autumn vegetables, and pumpkin pie. The Thanksgiving weekend is also a common time to take a brief autumn vacation, as this may be the last chance in a while for some people to use cottages or holiday homes before sets in. With that, we come to the end of my segment. Tune in for next week and another segment of news, weather, and interesting fact. And more importantly, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And now over to Aiden.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for the news that you shared. I gotta say, out of multiple different aspects, you know what? My interesting news fact was the factor of the self-driving grocery trucks. I gotta say, that is a huge thing. But to bring the conversation to everyone here, for everyone that's in here, so you, Joshua, you, Kevin, you, Jeffrey, what are you guys going to be planning to do for your Thanksgiving?
I'm going to be planning to have a big dinner with my family.
Ah, that's awesome. What about you, Joshua? What are you planning to do with your family? Ah, man. It's okay. It's okay if
You froze, Aiden, so I couldn't get you.
Oh my goodness! I thought I was not there. Did you hear what I said, or should I say it again?
Can you say it again?
I was saying, what are you planning for Thanksgiving?
I will spend time with my family.
That's nice. And I know that you discussed about Thanksgiving, Kevin, but what are you planning for yours? Or if you want to talk a little bit more about it.
Well, I might have celebrate Thanksgiving with having a cousin over to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Ah, that's awesome. It's always nice to have family over, especially during Thanksgiving. Now, remember, Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks. It's kind of just like the reverse version of that sentence. Giving thanks, Thanksgiving. Whatever. It's just a silly little joke that I was going to say. Anyways, moving on for second gaming news. Here's my huge gaming news stuff. So, if you guys know, as a Mario fan, I love Mario. I love it so much. It's what I think about every single day at every single moment. If you guys know, yesterday, Nintendo specifically made a Nintendo Direct dedicated entirely to the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie. And recently, it gave us our first proper look at the film, letting us see what all the familiar characters will look like, and more importantly, letting us hear what Chris Pratt sounds like as Nintendo's mustached hero. And after watching it myself, I must give an amazing and huge round of applause to Jack Black for putting so much effort and time into his character development for Bowser. You know what? Jack Black, if you know him, he's a huge person, and he has been in so many movies, but every movie that he's in, he always makes sure to give 125%, and he definitely didn't skim off today. So if you guys haven't seen the trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I recommend that you really do. The trailer showed a decent cast and how they're going along with the show. If you're very much a original Mario person, you know it's kind of like an origin of Mario kind of sorts, similar to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show when they got sucked down the drain. What if you guys saw the trailer? You know, we saw Luigi, Bowser, his army, the Penguin Kingdom, Mario, and Magic Koopa, and even Toad. And I gotta say, you know, It's a really good trailer. If you haven't seen it, I recommend that you do because really your jaw's going to drop to the floor at how amazing Bowser looked. I cannot get over it. He definitely, you know how sometimes the villains of a show aren't that scary? This definitely makes me feel like that character is going to cause problems. And if you know, one thing still bothers me and has been bothering me since the very first announcement about this movie. What's up with Chris Pratt and his voice acting for Mario? It just sounds like he's being Chris Pratt as Mario. It's very strange. But you know what? Maybe we're going to see a little bit more. I was hoping for a little bit more of an Italian accent. The community's discussing here and there. People have their opinions. Obviously, I think that it was great. Obviously, it takes millions of dollars to make this kind of movie, so they can't change huge things in the movie. So, other than that, really check out the Super Mario Bros. Movie. There's going to be stuff releasing throughout the month, and it is also going to be releasing around March 2023. So keep your eyes peeled for any Mario news. And trust you me, guys, if you can't find any, I will be your help to find your Nintendo and Mario Bros. Movie news. Next up, we have Joshua with news, and of course, your very favorite animal.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Connect. Now for a good news story. Southwest Airlines workers looked after a passenger's pet fish for 4 months after it was banned from flight. A pair of Southwest Airline employees volunteered to become mom and dad to a passenger's fish after the passenger was told she could not embark with the animal. Kira was returning home from her freshman year at college with her beta fish named Theo when she was told it was not allowed on her flight. That's when Southwest agent Ismail and his fiancee Jamie offered to take care of the fish so that she wouldn't miss her flight. The COVID-19 pandemic was followed by the airline 22 pandemic, a summer of widespread air travel disruptions rival that came before. Social media is washed away with stories of airport nightmares. But Southwest took to Twitter to show off their exceptionally large-hearted agents as they took Theo the fish home and even bought him a new bowl over the summer. Kira, the customer with the fish, kept in touch with Ismail, our employees also known as fish taker, uh, also known as airport fish taker, all throughout the summer after their freshman year in college, as Ismail and his fiancee Jamie, a fellow Southwest employee, took care of Theo the beta fish. Almost 4 months later, Kira returned to Tampa for her sophomore year and met up with a couple to reunite with Theo. There have been many stories of airline company employees from agents to pilots making the effort to suit troubled travelers this year. Now for another good news story. Author spends lifetime searching for a woman who taught him to read and then she surprised him. Author Jamal Jan Kuchai tried for years to reconnect with his second grade teacher, a woman whom he credits with all the success he's had in life. A young immigrant who didn't know any English, it was her teacher, Miss Susan Lung, who stayed after hours every day in their Sacramento elementary school to teach Kuchai one-on-one how to read and write, something she managed in just a year. It was something Kuchai never forgot, but after moving to new schools and districts, he lost track of her. The more Kuchai's career grew with success, the more he felt he had to reconnect with the special teacher who kickstarted his life as an author. It was more than 10 years that Kuchai had been looking for his former teacher. 10 years were calling school districts, looking names, and leads up to on Google and social media, and visiting schoolhouses all proved fruitless. However, after one of the books he wrote came out, someone reached out to him out of the blue on Facebook. It was Miss Lung, husband Alan Lung. Because it was during COVID-19 lockdowns, they decided not to meet up face to face after years of term on joyful events in Kuchai's professional and family life. That moment finally came during a book reading slash signing event for his newly released book. Miss Lung's husband allowed Alan reached up to him, introduced him, and brought him over to Miss Lung. At that moment, the 7-year-old in him finally got to hug his second grade teacher again. He signed her copy of his book with all the words he couldn't say but which had been in his head and heart for a decade and more. Now turning to animal interest news. Safari park worker is best friends with lion that he cuddled and pampered for years. Meet the South African animal expert who has been best friends with a 550-pound lion named George for over 10 years. The pair met when George was born at the Lion and Safari Park in Gauteng, South Africa, where Shandor Lartini works as the head of the animal husbandry. Since then, Shandor has groomed the big cat and played with him every day, and the pair can often be seen cuddling together in an extraordinary way. Shandor says that lions have good days and bad days just like us. The 10-year-old lion has developed from a tiny cub to the head of his own pride, but he always makes time for Shandor. George loves to be pampered, and Shandor massages, bru- just brushes his hair and plays with him at least once a day. Shandor explains George Lee loves the fly repellent we make for him. He rolls around like a little kitten, and it's his favorite time. Get a massage or foot rub, and he loves it. It's like watching a child grow up," said the 27-year-old animal lover. It's exactly the same feeling, and George chooses to spend time with Shandor as much as the other way around. George is similar to me in a sense that while he's social, he also likes to be alone a lot. It's amazing to see that when I arrive, he'll leave the rest of the pride and walk over. Shandor further says, I can think of times in my life where I was really struggling and the animals really helped me. These days, Shandor and George have become TikTok sensations and their videos regularly receive hundreds of thousands of views. This is Joshua Show reporting for you Connect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for all the news that you shared. I gotta say, out of all the news, obviously my favorite is always your animal news. It always gives me a little smile on my face. But most importantly for everyone, I just want to say my part, and then I'm gonna ask you guys as well. I gotta say, my favorite news was the lion named George. You know what? It's always nice to see connections with animals and humans, and it's always great to see how they can protect each other. They love each other to make sure that they are healthy and they make sure that they are loved. It's always nice to see that. What did you guys think of Joshua's news? What were your thoughts?
I love the line. I love the line one too. It's just such a lovely story.
I agree as well. It is.
I love the lion story. It's one of a great story because I like
agree.
lions.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for the news that you shared. And now it's time to come in close for the final gaming news. And now, what is it? It has to be our board game of the week, similar to our video game of the week. But instead, close those laptops, turn off those TVs. It's time to pull out a good old-fashioned board game. And which board game did I choose today? I chose a game called Lacrimosa. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is dead. His last conscious action on his deathbed was composing the Lacrimosa movement of his Opus Requiem. You, as one of his sponsors, will meet with the widow in order to participate one last time in the funding of the works of the Austrian genius. Also, you may reminisce and retell all your memories alongside Mozart in order to make sure that she portrays you under the best light when writing her memoirs in order to enter history as Mozart's most important patron. So in Lacrimosa, players take on the roles of patrons of the late musician, contributing with their fundings of the composer's works one last time. During the game, you play in two different timelines. One is the present and one is in the past. In the present, you commission the missing parts of the Requiem and from other composers in order to complete it. When developing past events, the game takes place in 5 epochs, in which you contribute by buying new compositions from the composer to sell to or to exhibit. Accompany him on different journeys through the main courts and theaters in Europe, and gather the resources you need in order to support the musician during his career. Do you think you have what it takes to be the best Patreon for Mozart? Now, I absolutely love music, guys. Music's awesome. And your board game, based off of a future and past kind of time traveling kind of situation that's also related to the great Mozart, count me in. Sounds like a crazy game. And I gotta say, I love the name Lacrimosa. It's a very, very fancy name. So that has been my board game of the week. Now, I would say next up is Nibras, but don't worry. I've got you guys covered. Obviously, when Nibras isn't here, I'm always here to give you now, boom, boom, boom. We had video game of the week. We had board game of the week. Now what we have, podcast of the week. Now, here's a podcast that I think you will like. Are you looking for something a little spooky? Well, Aaron Monk's fortnightly podcast delves into the spooky world of folklore in lore. Each episode comes with a loose theme, such as North American vampire myths, among others, and a certain amount of analysis. But the real pleasure is Monk's spooky campfire-style recounting of innumerable folk legends and myths the show draws from. There's an emphasis on North America, but there's plenty of spookiness from all over the world. Their famous quote, because sometimes the truth is more frightening than fiction, is very true. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and even iHeartRadio. Now, if you're not much of a podcast listener, don't worry. There's an iteration of lore for the screens. That's right. For Amazon Prime with the same name, Lore, there is an Amazon Prime series with 2 seasons, which is a recount of the podcast, but in a visual standpoint. So if you like watching horror stories, go right ahead. But if you're on the road, I recommend that you check out Lore if you want some spooky tales from all over the world about ghost stories and myths and legends. It's a really cool podcast. I haven't listened to it myself, but you know what? I think I might need to check out the series and check out the podcast. And I hope you do too. Anyways, though, I better not dilly-dally, because guess what? We have Jeffrey. But I'm going to ask, as Jeffrey gets prepared, what about for you, Joshua, and you, Kevin, what are your thoughts on this podcast called Lore? What's your thoughts on it?
It's pretty spooky, I would say.
Definitely is pretty spooky.
And it's quite interesting, Lord.
You know what? It looks
good vibes for.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be shaking in my boots. If you're too scared to watch it, by all means, you know what? It might get a bit too spooky for you. But you know what?
Okay, I can handle it.
Ooh. But you know what? It is a perfect time for this podcast because guess what? We're in the month of October, and you know what October means. Spooky month.
Spooky.
So it kind of follows lore. Anyways, though, next up, we have Jeffrey, our live musician, with his live music.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? This is Jeffrey, your live musician. I know it's been a while, but you know what? I'm back. I'm here. Your music. I have your music ready for you. And this is an original song that was created by Aiden and myself. And it's called My Feet Are Big. As you guessed it, it's about feet. Now, this song might sound silly, but it's actually pretty fun as well. So hope you like it. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's totally true. My feet are responsibly of my heart, my love for you. God, giant size 14. That's why I have extra right boats that can sail long ways. Ugly thing ever seen. 10 pinky toes are wiggling king. People say they are smelly, that you don't want them close. But I can tell you one thing I don't tell them most. One thing for sure, these are the feet of mine will cross the desert, even speed up time, swim through the ocean, ninja kick the pervert, so that they are all moaning. They will bounce on the beam, just to save you my love. Why? 'Cause I love you so much. Today, take a moment, look down at your feet, aim to shoot, kiss little toes, all standing in a row. Remember, don't cheat. See, no matter what trouble these flat monsters sing, if you are measured with love, you can bring. Let them stand on the floor, do a dance, slide, tap, and kick some more. Stomp, twist, and crush. Every heart to mush. 'Cause I will tell you one thing for sure. These epic feet of mine will climb across the desert, even speed up time, swim through the ocean, ninja kick the pervert, so that they are moaned in. They will bounce on the beam, just to save you my love. Why? 'Cause I love you so much. Today, take a moment, look down at your feet, aim to shoot, the kids' little toes are standing in a row. Remember, don't cheat. See, no matter what trouble these flat monsters might sing, feed on measure with love, you can breathe. Let them stand on the floor, do a dance, slide, tap, and kick some more. Stomp, twist, and crush. Every heart to mush. 'Cause I will tell you that one thing for sure. Things like a feet of mine will climb across the desert, even speed up time, swim through the ocean, ninja kick the pervert, so that they're all moaning. They will bounce on the beam, just to save you my love. Why? 'Cause I love you so much. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. I'll see you all next week, and it's back to you, Aiden.
Now, guys, when Jeffrey first said the song was about feet, I was a bit confused. And I was like, oh, yes, you are going to love this song. And you know what? Jeffrey just makes the best the best accompaniment in the music. I always love collaborating with Jeffrey. He makes such amazing music to combine. I get the lyrics, Jeffrey gets the music, and then it makes a good team. Another amazing song, Jeffrey. I really, really liked it. Now, if you liked it, make sure that you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
And if you really like the song, make sure to leave a comment down below and discuss about how you loved this episode. I always love hearing Jeffrey's new songs because you know what? New songs are always fun to listen to. Other than that, guys, I hope that you have a great rest of your weekend. I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye, guys, and thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.